ABC 12 News at 11 is brought to you by McLaren Flint, by Honda of Grand Blanc, and by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Oh, hey, hey! Ho, ho! The right to work has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
It was a historic day in the state's labor movement. December 11, 2012. That's when protesters rallied at the state capitol against right-to-work legislation. Later that same day, Governor Rick Snyder signed the bill in private, and Michigan became the 24th right-to-work state. The new law took effect March 28, 2013, prompting more questions than answers. Among the most asked, how soon before this new legislation jumpstarts Michigan's economy, and what will happen to labor now that workers can opt out of paying dues? Tonight, almost 1 year later, we investigate how right to work has changed Michigan. Outside the Capitol, their voices were loud.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The right to work has got to go! Hey, hey!
But not a match for the power of Governor Snyder's pen.
As we see more and more businesses come to Michigan, it's more opportunities for workers, more opportunities for unions.
Right-to-work legislation proved to be one of the most divisive political issues in Michigan history. The law bans making union membership a condition of employment. At that time, Governor Snyder said it would make the state more attractive to business. And the only reason he okayed it was because it meant more jobs. Organized labor said it was simply union busting.
He might be one tough nerd, but this is wrong for Michigan, and he knows it.
Fast forward to 2014, and the success or failure of the legislation is still up for debate.
The one thing that has really helped is we've gotten more companies, more organizations interested in coming to Michigan because we're a right-to-work state now, a freedom-to-work state.
ABC 12 caught up with Governor Snyder at the start of his re-election campaign. He says the legislation has opened the door for business growth and new development.
There clearly are a number of companies, a lot in the pipeline, that said before they would have disqualified us without even looking at Michigan, that they're now looking at our state.
According to a report, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation says new business investment jumped after right to work was put into place, up about 33% in the 12 months since the law took effect. It's also reported that those investments create about 9,400 jobs. We asked Governor Snyder for specific examples.
Actually, I can't, because in fact they've asked us not to. Because let me put it in a simple sense. You remember the protests that took place when we were going through it? Do you know of any company that wanted to hold up their hand to say, I came to Michigan because of right to work? No company wants to come to a place where people are going to immediately protest them or say, why are you here? We don't want you here.
Opponents of the new law claimed it would weaken labor unions, but the governor says that's simply not true.
If they see value, I encourage them to join. If they don't, they shouldn't have to, and hopefully unions can be more accountable and get them to join.
Right to work was done for one reason only, was to weaken unions.
But in terms of overall numbers, that has not happened yet. U.S. Department of Labor statistics show union membership in Michigan actually increased by about 4,000 in 2013. That's after right-to-work legislation took effect. President of the American Federation of Teachers Michigan, David Hecker.
People are signing up. People respect their union, understand the value of the union.
We could probably tell very soon if there was a mass exodus from unions. But there hasn't been.
It's going to pull us together. It's going to make us be better reps.
And the full effect on the labor ranks won't be felt for a while in Michigan, since many pre-existing labor contracts like the UAWs are still in effect. The unions, meanwhile, are standing by their belief that the legislation will hurt the state's economy.
Right-to-work states that have been right-to-work for years, their average wage or benefits are much lower than states that aren't right-to-work.
One observer says we should expect to see right-to-work back in the spotlight later this year.
What people should look for is it to become a campaign issue, especially in the governor's race.
We will take back our great state. Are you ready?
Democratic gubernatorial candidate Mark Schauer has already vowed to repeal right-to-work legislation if he's elected in November.
His economic policies just aren't working. We need to do better.
Most of those in the debate agree on one thing. It is still too early to measure the full effect the legislation will have. It's even estimated it could take at least a decade before we find out if right-to-work was really right for Michigan.
It did nothing to help the state. It does nothing to bring business here. All it was is to try to make us weaker because they don't want our political power.
My goal here is to solve problems. You hired me to solve problems, not pick fights with people.
And again, Michigan is one of 24 states that have right-to-work laws on the books. The next state considering similar legislation right now is Missouri. JR?
Well, across the area today, we did pick up that snow, and it was significant. We've had up at about 6 inches in just a few spots. Harrison and Clare County has reported so far. The high is totaled at 6, but you can see Midland 5.2, Bridgepoint 5 inches, 4.5 inches down into northern Oakland County in Holly as well. Officially at Bishop Airport, 20 the high today, 20 in Saginaw, and it was very cold this morning. Your forecast is coming up.
Listen for ABC 12 News updates throughout the day on 102.5 WIOG, the hit music channel, and Super Talk 1570. Before storms strike first with the ABC 12 Weather app, the only Mid-Michigan station to offer a dedicated weather app for your mobile device, constantly updating. ABC 12 Weather, Mid-Michigan's weather source. Download it now for Apple or Android.
During Empire's Buy One, Get Two free sale, buy one room and get 2 rooms of flooring free when you pay for padding and installation. Schedule your free in-home estimate now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
Let's go, kids.
One thing